I've been practicing semen retention for several years now. Oh, I'd probably say 5, 6, maybe even 7 years. And I've been teaching guys for the last 4 years how to use the practices of alchemy that my mentors and coaches and teachers taught me, and with tremendous success. I saw a lot of other guys that talk about no-fap and semen retention do timeline videos, and I thought, hey, that's a really great idea. I went 6 months with semen retention, completely retaining for 6 months. Now, when I say I practice semen retention, I want to qualify that so I don't mislead you or anybody else to say that I never ejaculate. When I say I practice semen retention, what I'm saying is I regulate my ejaculation on average to once a month. Now, some months I might, bust a little bit more if myself and my wife are just more active. Last year, I went 6 months with semen retention, and I want to share what I took away from that, what my experience is. So no matter where you're at in your journey, if you're just coming into this lifestyle, if you're just learning about this lifestyle and you're curious about the benefits or the experience, this will help you. But also, if you've been practicing for some time or you've been slowly, progressively getting stronger and stronger in your ability to retain, I want to share some things that happened with me when I did 6 months of retention. Let's dive into it. Hi, my name is Nakula and I help men master your S3X energy so you can become a powerhouse both in and outside the bedroom and unleash all your God-given abilities. Go to the link in the description below and take the free transmutation guide, which is a full in-depth video program, including a practice that you can use and apply right away to begin to master your energy and use your S3X energy in a conscious way. First of all, I just want to say that if you're practicing semen retention, congratulations, you're already in the rare category of men. Whether you're going 3 days and struggling, 7 days and struggling, months struggling, or you're that guy who's like, I haven't busted my nut in years. It's all good, right? I want to qualify a few things from my perspective. One, it's not all just about counting days. Like, I went 3 years without busting a nut. That's great. Mike Tyson did that. He also, had a lot of aggression and anger issues, right? And I'm not saying that's directly related to semen retention. I'm saying that the way that I practice semen retention, it's not just about counting days. It might be like that at the beginning, like anything at the beginning. You need to be much more regulated, kind of put yourself into a stricter container. But as time goes on, it's about adopting it as a lifestyle and ultimately being conscious about what you do. The other thing is that if you're anything like me, you started masturbating from a young age. I don't know, I can't remember. It must have been like 9, 10 years old. I would say that most guys that I talk to, like on my free one-to-one calls, and I've done literally thousands of them now, I would say that the average guy is beginning in this day and age, not only beginning to masturbate, like I begin to masturbate around 9, 10, 11, but most guys right now are masturbating to adult content at 9, 10, 11. So it's a very different experience when you bring in adult content into it. So I started daily, pretty much daily, if not 4 or 5 times a week, masturbation habit all the way into my late 20s, early 30s. I'm 40 right now. I've had students in their 60s begin. I've got a guy right now training with me. He is 65 years old and he's seeing tremendous amounts of benefit being able to move away from that lifestyle and transmute his life. So it doesn't matter how old you are. But I do want to qualify that if you, like most men in this age, we're starting at such young ages and add adult content, hardcore video adult content to that, it is an extremely difficult process because of how your brain becomes hardwired to deal with your own urges, to deal with temptations around your sexuality. Also retrain your brain and the energy flow. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's why I always go with a progressive stack, meaning just like a progressive overload in working out. So if you want to get bigger arms, you start to work out more and more, and then you add a little bit more weight and a little bit more weight and a little bit more weight, and you're progressively getting stronger. My approach to semen retention with all my students is no different than working out with a trainer at a gym, where we're going to progressively get you stronger and stronger and stronger. When I first started practicing, and I started practicing because of spiritual reasons, I recognized all of these great spiritual masters were either celibate or, you know, they were very controlled with their S3X energy. I thought, I want to have that level of mastery. I want to be able to control my mind that way so I can, you know, do what I'm meant to do. Everything that God's placed in me, I want that to come into fruition. I don't want to be at the end of my life thinking, oh crap, I wasted my life wanking it, or got caught in so many vices and crap that it took away from all my potential, which is what's happening to 90 to 95% of men all across the world. Just caught in vice and diminishing their energy. I thought, that's not going to be me. As I started researching NoFap and semen retention and what the benefits were because of the spiritual knowledge that I accumulated, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. This is no problem. Let's stop. And that's when I recognized how much this actually had a hook on me. I had one of my students, very, very successful doctor. I remember the first call I had with him. He said, yeah, I didn't think this NoFap thing was going to be difficult until I tried to stop. And then I'm like, holy crap, this is hard. And yeah, it is difficult. And so I set that up because I want to, first of all, congratulate you that you are even endeavoring to control this energy, unlike most men, which want to be controlled by it. They feel like, you know, more. But in actuality, if you want to grow as a man, if you want to grow spiritually, if you want to grow and unleash your potential, you need to keep that energy within you and be able to control it. I started controlling this energy because I wanted to experience deeper levels of freedom within myself. And I know that if you've got a vice, if you've got something over you, you're limited to how much freedom and therefore how much growth you can experience. Now, here's something that's going to be different, let's say, to my video as opposed to other timeline videos that are out there, is my experience tells me that it doesn't happen linearly. Like, I can't be like, in month 1, this happened, in month 2, this happened, in month 3. So I'm going to break down different things that happened, but I want you to know that it didn't happen linearly. It didn't just happen like, oh, this happened, then this happened, then this happened. Like, you're kind of like checking off, you know, oh, I reached this point of it. Oh, now I've got this. No, it's just like losing weight. You don't just lose weight in your arms and then in your cheeks and then in your, no, you lose weight holistically, you grow holistically. So semen retention has multiple things that are happening at the same time. From practical perspective, we need to break it down linearly, but from an actual experience, this is not a linear process. It is a process of enhancing what is going on within you. And therefore, there's going to be some positive things that are going to enhance in with you, but there's also going to be some negative things that are going to enhance in you, because semen retention simply enhances what is in you. Semen retention in itself is not going to make you a saint. It's not going to make you a good person or a bad person. Just like money. Money is an energy. Money in itself doesn't make you a good person or a bad person. Money is an energy. How you use money is what's going to define you. How you use your S3X energy is what is going to define you. So here's some things that happened to me as I started practicing. So first of all, the first couple days are some of the toughest days, because just like any other vice, drugs or alcohol, you will actually have a depletion of energy first. You will feel lethargic, and that's how I felt. So I busted a bunch of nuts, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop. I did not intend to go 6 months. I actually made a goal to go 90 days. So 3 months, right? I ended up going 6 months. And so the first few days are rough because you're coming off a habit, especially if you've been doing it for a long time, where you're used to getting dopamine from that. Your body is used to dealing with a certain amount of energy before it depletes itself. And at this point, you probably have a relationship like I did with your energy, where you actually just want to get rid of it so you can almost ground yourself. Like, okay, I used to bust a nut just before to get to work, just to be like, all right, I gotta get my mind off of sex. So let me just bust a nut so that I can get to work. Challenge is when you bust your nut, you don't feel like working, right? Because now you've got prolactin in your system, your testosterone is stifled, your energy that was getting you to go work is actually gone. So I did notice that the first few days, there is a depletion of energy. Your mind feels foggy. You feel lethargic. I felt unmotivated. And there was a lot of temptation to just bust my nut just to simply feel good and just escape that mental anguish and agitation for a moment. Just, And think about it. That's why many guys do it. It's like, I just got to get my mind back. Then what I noticed is after the first week, I started feeling, good. My energy started coming up. And then right around the 10-day, 12-day mark, I got that boost of testosterone. And that's generally the cycle, anywhere between 7 to 14 days. You're gonna notice this boost of energy. And that's when guys talk about like I feel great, I wanna conquer the world. All of a sudden the workouts are better. Your motivation goes up, you're driven for success. That is because of the testosterone spike that happens on semen retention right about the 7 to 10-day mark. It's a little bit different for each guy depending on your health, your body, your lifestyle overall. So what I did notice is that when that happened, my motivation and energy really drove up. But what was also interesting is that mental clarity really started to heighten. And you may already feel like you're clear, but I'm telling you, there's levels of clarity when you are very clean, when your body is clean, no drugs, no alcohol, staying away from processed foods, water, like great water intake. Like when you are doing everything as you should, the mental images are vibrant and they are vivid. I noticed my dreams started to become very vibrant and vivid. And my thought power, because clarity is thought power, and this is a thought universe. This is a universe of vibration, and your thoughts are creating vibration. Every thought you think sends a ripple effect into your body, an electric pulse that shifts the chemistry of your body. And like Jesus said, you are a conduit. Your body is the conduit in which your light is going to shine. No different than a bulb that has a soul, that has a light, a soul, right? That's shining brightly. Well, depending on the quality of the bulb, if the bulb is all dirty, then that light, no matter how bright it is going to be dulled. So what's happened, I noticed that the mental clarity, the brightness of my thoughts were really increasing. And that allowed much more focus and powerful moves. Now, what I mean by powerful moves is that when you have clarity, you can skip a lot of side steps. And that's what started happening to me. Instead of working lots, I was like, I don't need to be doing like half of what I'm doing. I just need to focus on these key activities, work less, make more money, and get further. And that's what started happening. My business was flourishing well. My workouts started flourishing. And in this time period, this initial 6 months, I lost a tremendous amount of weight. I started the 6 months at around 185 pounds. And by the 6 months, were over, I was under 160 pounds. And you can actually check out my video on how I went down all the way to 150 pounds using semen retention as my baseline discipline. Then I started to notice my sleep improved. And because my sleep was improving, I started sleeping less. I also overall just had more energy. So harder erections overall, blood flow was better, and therefore less sleep. Because we don't need more sleep. What we need is better rest. When you have good quality sleep, you can sleep less and get more done, which allowed me to have much more time in my day to do more things and to live life deeper. Then emotional control. Emotional control started to deepen. And that's the real essence, mental and emotional control. I was able to stay composed in high pressure situations. Oh, we need to generate some sales or some income, or there's some haters online. These things used to throw me off, take me out the game. I just noticed I was fine. I'm like, I'm cool. It's good. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna make things happen. And I had the clarity, the energy, and the focus to make things happen. And so therefore, those types of things also started to disintegrate. That, like, I don't stress about money anymore. I'm not stressed about whether I have haters or not. Stuff doesn't bother me anymore like how it used to. And that's because of the mental and emotional strength that is attained through the practice and the sustainable practice, not just practicing once, but making it a lifestyle. And that's when the spiritual benefits started to emerge. After a few months, what I notice is my heart shifts from lust to way more loving. My empathy rose. My ability to feel into other people, my ability to serve and help my students really enhances because I can get a subtle sense. This is now going into the subtle world of what they're going through, what their blind spots are. So my ability to influence, to have a positive impact, and to magnetize people towards me was greatly increased. And because I wasn't being distracted by, let's call it worldly nonsense, I was unleashing and still am unleashing my God-given abilities. Now, what was really interesting, I'm not a monk, so I still have sex with my wife, but I was having non-ejaculatory sex. Now, during this 6 months, I was really deeply practicing sexual alchemy. So these are the breathwork techniques and the meditations and the muscle control techniques to transmute that energy. So I noticed that my control in the bedroom was really increased, but I also noticed that just sex wasn't so much on my mind. I wasn't agitated with it. I wasn't thinking about it, which really allowed my energy to be free to focus on higher things. So a few different milestones I want to talk about is like what guys call flatline. And I understand what you mean by flatline, but I also don't buy into flatline. So I experienced flatlines throughout the 6 months. Times where you don't feel the energy. You kind of feel like, well, I don't know, is this even, like, I don't feel any difference. I don't feel that Super Saiyan, whatever, that type of thing. And what I recognized in this 6 months is that because actually, if you look at anything, let's take business as an example, businesses will go through what they all call flat lines, periods of growth, and then periods where it could be years where you feel stagnant. You're making a couple $100,000 a year, you're doing your thing, whatever and you just seem can't to break through. But that's because there needs to be this accumulation of energy to break through to the next level, to step into to the higher level frequency. So the same thing happens with semen retention. So there are flat lines, but the psychological shift allows you to be in much more control and in a much better place. The deeper lesson here that I really received and that I really gained, so yes, more energy, testosterone spike, all of that stuff. But I think the biggest thing that I took away from the 6 months was recognizing that I can master myself, that I can control my body and mind, that if I put the effort in, I can do anything. And I really believe that, because when you can control your lust, what else can't you control? And when I'm talking about control, I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about yourself. When you can control yourself at the level of mastery, meaning you can regulate, you can consciously choose whether you ejaculate or not, even during sexual activity, you will know deeply within yourself that you are fully capable of living an amazing life, achieving incredible results, and making a lasting impact and legacy in this world. I hope this inspires you. I hope it helps you set you up for your own journey. Of course, if you need help or support, please reach out to me. I'm here to be of service and to help you. I promise you, semen retention, while it is difficult, it's worth it. Thank you so much for being connected to this channel. Make sure you leave comments. It helps us get the message out to more people. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a video. I'll see you on the next one.